Hello everybody and welcome to a bonus and final episode of this Let's Play. Like I said in the last episode, it's challenge mode time, 26 challenges to complete, so let's start. Ladder leaper, quickly bomb burst from ladder to ladder. You start with 6 HP and nothing else. Your goal is to reach the end of the level by leaping to ladders with your basic bomb burst. Beware of fire pots. The challenge is set in Pridamore Keep. Completed in under 30 seconds. Dear Grinder, collect all the treasure before the clock counts down. You start with 6 HP and nothing else. Your goal is to collect all the gold that appear from 6 platforms from both sides while avoiding falling gears. The level is set in the flying machine. Completed in under 52 seconds. Fleet flight, collect all the treasure, but don't stop. You start with 10 HP and the Fleet Flask Arcana. Your goal is to collect all 3000 gold in under 33 seconds with the Fleet Flask in one run. The stage is set in the Plains of Passage. Skrarlin and the Rain Brave battles, Rain and Darkness. You start with 8 HP, Bounce Casing, Sparkler Powder, Sentry Fuse, and Spin Burst. Your goal is to reach the end of a pitch black level in the Tower of Fate. Entrance as the screen scrolls to the right. Beware of Liquid Samurai, Thunderwisms, and Paplamas. Missile Ride Mayhem, defeat all the enemies while hopping from missile to missile. You start with 6 HP, Lob Casing, Cluster Powder, and Quick Fuse. Your goal is to defeat all enemies while riding missiles in the Iron Whale. Beware of spikes and walls where the missiles will explode. Hitch 'em and switch 'em. Use the float casing to hit switches and reach the goal. You start with 4 HP, float casing, black powder, and long fuse. Your goal is to make it to the end while hitting various switches in the flying machine to open the path. Grave robber, grab all of the gems using only your spin jump burst. You start with 6 HP and cannot throw bombs. Your goal is to collect all the treasure in this lich yard level without throwing a bomb and using only the spin jump bomb burst. Cluster bomb clamber, defeat all the enemies before the time runs out. You start with 6 HP, bounce casing, cluster powder, and short fuse. Your goal is to make it destroy all the enemies in 1 minute 50 seconds. This challenge takes place in Stranded Ship. Peacetime climb weave between gears and gizmos until you reach the top. You start with 1 HP. Any damage is fatal and cannot throw bombs or use your jump burst. Your goal is to make it to the top of the clockwork tower without getting hit and without being able to throw bombs or use your jump burst. That's all folks. Low magic Vat Arcana only, and no stopping. Can you reach the goal? You start with 4 HP, orbit casing, black powder, and short fuse in the Vat Arcana. Your goal is to make it to the end of an auto-scrolling level with little magic and using VATs frequently to pick up more magic pots. Takes place in the Lost City. Rematch King Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 4 HP, lob casing, cascade powder, and quick fuse. Defeat King Knight in under 40 seconds. Rematch Spectre Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 8 HP, float casing, sparkler powder, long fuse, and bullet burst. Defeat Spectre Knight in under 45 seconds, or 40 seconds. Rematch Shovel Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 6 HP and the Vat Arcana. Defeat Shovel Knight in under 65 seconds. Rematch Treasure Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 6 HP, orbit casing, black powder, and long fuse. Defeat Treasure Knight in under 30 seconds. Rematch Mole Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 6 HP, Bounce Casing, Cluster Powder, Impact Fuse, and Spin Burst. Defeat Mole Knight in under 30 seconds. Rematch Tinker Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 1 HP. Any damage is fatal. Float Casing, Black Powder, Long Fuse, and Leech Liquid Arcana. Defeat Tinker Knight and his Tinker Tank in under 70 seconds. You can maximum your health to 6 HP with the Leech Liquid. Rematch Propeller Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 12 HP, Whirl Casing, Sparkler Powder, Quick Fuse, and the Staff of Striking Arcana. Defeat Propeller Knight in under 50 seconds. Rematch Polar Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 4 HP, Drop Casing, Cluster Powder, Standard Fuse, Float Burst, and the Smoke Bomb Arcana. Defeat Polar Knight in under 35 seconds. Rematch Black Knight. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 10 HP, Lob Casing, Component Powder, Standard Fuse, and Bullet Burst. Defeat Black Knight in the Tower of Fate. Entrance in under 50 seconds. Rematch Red Eyes. Defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 10 HP and the Fleet Flask. Defeat Red Eyes in under 50 seconds. Rematch: the Baz defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 8 HP. Float casing, black powder, sentry fuse, and spin burst. Defeat the Baz in under 40 seconds. Rematch: Mr. Hat defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 8 HP, bounce casing, tracer powder, impact fuse, and frost burst. Defeat Mr. Hat in under 45 seconds, or 40 seconds. Rematch: Phantom Striker defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 8 HP, bounce casing, cascade powder, impact fuse, and float burst. Defeat Phantom Striker in under 35 seconds. Rematch: Enchantress defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 8 HP, float casing, component powder, sentry fuse, and the bait bomb arcana. Defeat the Enchantress in under 60 seconds. Rematch: Plague of Shadows defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 6 HP and the Big Boom Arcana. Defeat the Plague of Shadows in under 50 seconds. Rematch: Corrupted Essence defeat the boss within the time limit. You start with 10 HP, drop casing, cluster powder, standard fuse, and bullet burst. Defeat the Corrupted Essence in under 55 seconds. So this is the end of this project. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.